But when we've been back in Jakarta, we had this small little conference, and you had an exciting speech about your life and your journey as an entrepreneur first, and second as a trader. And I'm really curious about learning more about this. I'm so excited also that people can learn about your journey and your career here. So um, just just let's start. Let us start with some insights about your life.
Perfect. Why not? Okay,
So
you mentioned the
begin.
journey. Let's talk a little bit about the journey, and I think yeah, it's interesting. So for me, back in when I was 20, I got into business. You said I was an entrepreneur. I wouldn't ever call myself
Uh-huh.
an entrepreneur actually, but I certainly was in business. And what I discussed with you is like I really got into business just to be free. And what I discovered over 10, 12 years was I just wasn't free at all. Business, they say, is the greediest lover. I had 40 staff, warehouses, and all the rest of it. But it kind of led me on a path
Yeah.
because you don't know what you want. You think you know what you want until you get it. And then you get it and you go, oh, actually, no, this is what I want. And that's the cool thing about the journey is kind of you refine really what you want because through that experience. So without
Yeah.
going
What did
massively
you
in,
want?
Mm,
Yeah. So what did you want back then? Money, you got it with a business. But what did you really want? What was the expectation?
well, the word is freedom, right? So freedom for me at that
Right.
stage, the ability to, yes, have money, number one. Okay, well, I had money, but I had no freedom.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't take a week off. I couldn't travel. I couldn't see things. I had maybe limited time with my friends, limited time with my family. So,
Yeah.
you get money. I mean, that's a good first step. That's, if you've got money, okay, well,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. But, how do you balance out all of the other things in your life? And I found through conventional business that I was in, I just couldn't really do that. And as I explained to you before, through that business, I was having to use options, currency options, because I was buying in euros, selling in pounds. And that kind of got me into the trading world and ticked a lot of the boxes of, okay, well, if I could trade, then, I wouldn't necessarily have to have an office. I wouldn't have to have staff. I wouldn't have to have all of the other things that go along with business, which is why today I still stand and say trading is certainly one of the best businesses in the world. There's very few businesses that you can start with as little capital as trading. And, for both of us, we are location free. I saw you in Jakarta, then we met in Bangkok. You're now
Yeah.
in Buenos Aires, and I'm in Ho Chi Minh. So,
Yeah.
it's a wonderful life, but there's a journey to get there, of course. You can't do that in one step, and you're not going to come to the trading world and be a super trader on day one, which I think is the misconception. Everybody wants to make money now, right? Whereas really you've got to
Yeah.
look at it as a degree, as an apprenticeship over, many 4, maybe 5 years, to get to get
Mm.
to that stage.
Yeah. I mean, people get drawn into this very easily, but exactly with this, I can get rich quick, which is obviously not really the case for the most of the people. I mean, you can have a lucky shot once in a while, but you're not
Mm.
having the stable richness coming in, not so much. And that's something what I also feel like, yeah, people need to know about this, that it's a journey. You need to have some basis, some background from an entrepreneurial level, I think, so that you understand that you have to work for your success. You have to have some skills as well to be successful as a trader as well. And that's also why I'm curious how you really did this, well, the switch from one
Yeah.
job to the other one.
Yeah. I mean, I was lucky from the perspective of I've never had a job in my life. And I don't say that to boast. I just say that the lucky part is that you always have to get a result. When you don't have a job, you don't have an income. So you
Mhm.
have to get a result. So
Yeah.
I've always been very focused on, okay, well, that worked, that didn't work. how do we dial it in? Because it's not about how much time I spend trading. It's about the
Mhm.
result, or in business or any endeavor. It's about getting those results. So I was lucky, I was fortunate with that, of being able to take that attribute and then move that into trading and just really get the hours in front of the screen. I think that's it. You start out, you trade, you know, I traded silver, I traded Forex, I traded index markets, whatever, gold. And you know, you find something that ultimately is going to work, but you've got to just dial that in. And ultimately it's a lot, you know, it'll be a lot, you know, it goes really wide, but it just becomes to sort of quite a simple and straightforward strategy. I think a lot of
Yeah.
us, if we said, look, this is our strategy, people are like, yeah, that's just really simple, but that's it. You've
Mhm.
got to just do, you know, simple things consistently. And that's the difficult bit. That's the difficult bit where people really struggle, just doing those simple things every day. And when you make a mistake, you make a correction.
Mhm. Mhm. Fair enough, which is hard for the most people, you know. First of all, realizing that you made a mistake, and second, just correct it within that minute you see that it's a mistake. You know, usually people hope for the better and go for the worse. How did you
Yeah.
learn this?
Well, it's not even learning. I think the key thing is just journaling. You've got to,
Mm.
okay, so like in business, you have a business plan. You know, if you went
Yeah.
to bank and say, hey, I want to get some money, they're gonna go, where's your business plan? So I had, you know, this is
Yeah.
my trading business plan. This is and that's, I think, the other big mistake. I don't think people treat trading as a business, trading or
Mhm.
investing as a business. So set out, make a plan. What's, you know, how much capital do you need? What is possible out of that capital? You know, could you take $1,000 and make $100,000? Probably not. You know, could you
Mhm.
start a business with $1,000? Yes, but how much would you expect to make out of that business? You
Yeah.
know? So it's just drilling all of those things in and dialing it down to going, okay, that's the plan. And then really working on the plan of this is the objective this month. So I'm going to make, typically, I would always really be targeting 3 to 5%. That's what I was looking to make from the market,
Mhm.
which is not too aggressive in the market. I'm not trying to do 100% a month. You just can't. And just try and hit those goals. And if I didn't hit those goals, well, what went wrong? Was it the market environment as well? Because we go through seasons in the market. It's not always going to
Mhm.
be the same. Have to apply different strategies at different times because of
Yeah.
what the market looks like. So that's it. It's just it's constantly refining. And today I'm still doing the same thing, taking your plan
Mhm.
and going, okay, how do I make this better? And how do I apply that also from my lifestyle? Do I want to be in front of the screens all of the time or
Mhm.
not? Or do I want to, you know, be at the screens for a couple of hours a day and then go and do other things that are important to me in my life? So that really ties into the plan as well. And then maybe later we'll talk about investing as well. That
Well,